Going into a big game against Portland, how important was it for you to get on the field for a long time as well as getting a win going into that game?
Yeah, important to say the least. I mean, looking up at the standings, and one or two games can make a big difference at this part of the season, especially with the top three losing last weekend. You never know what can happen in this league, so we got to take it, our chances when we can, start to climb the ladder. International duties coming up, so we gotta have a full strength lineup this game and get after it. And no excuses.
How did it feel going against them last year when they had won the cup, and do you think that's going to affect them this time?
No, I mean you don't. Everything in a rivalry game, you throw everything out the window. We could be sitting dead last, they could be sitting dead last, and vice versa, first place and first place, and it's still going to be a hard-fought battle. So we got to stay focused on our game plan. The occasion is set for a big game. And all the rivalry games are, but we got to stay focused on what we need to do well. We got to start rewarding ourselves for coming out here and working every day. Start banging away some goals and get on a little bit of a hot streak.
If you're at right back, Darlington Nagbe lines up on the left side for them. I'm sure you've had a little bit of experience with him, not only just in club but also for country with the U.S. And what do you make of him, and how do you plan on trying to slow down his impact?
I mean, top player in the league. It's you pick your moments of when you can go hard and when you got to be smart and cover the space. He's a player that will make you pay. It's spending time with him in the past couple January camps is I've never seen a player with the ball at their feet keep it like he does. I've never seen this before. So in saying that, he's a special player and a special talent. So we also have to remember it's a team sport, and I got to rely on the guys around me to help me when I need help, and they've got to recognize those situations as well. So it's a tactical battle, but it's one that if you want to be a good team, you got to beat the best players and you got to beat the best team. So we got to keep that in mind as well.
Going off that, where do you think Fernando Adi ranks in terms of just kind of big physically imposing forwards that you guys have to deal with?
Yeah, I would say he's a top, physically imposing forward. Alan Gordon is pretty physically imposing, but he doesn't bang away the goals generally like Adi has the past 3 seasons. He's up there with the best of them, I think, in terms of production. So in saying that, not only does he have the size, but he uses it. He uses it well, but he can also finish with his feet. And he's a top player. They've built a good team down there, but we've got to be aware of the dangers. But we're at home, and we got to make a statement. So I'm confident in the two center backs in that physical battle. That they relish, going up against big guys. I think they prefer going against big guys rather than the small guys that buzz around and make them turn. Big guy fall hard sometimes, so it's anytime you get a small guy turning against those guys, they like playing against the bigger guys. So they'll be up for the battle, especially after the drubbing they gave us last year down there.
Speaking of playing at home, you've had a lot of experience playing against the Timbers here at CenturyLink Field. What is the atmosphere like for you when you walk out of the tunnel? Is it any different? Do you feel an extra energy about it?
Yeah, I think fans show up earlier to this game. Certainly a buzz in the air around these games. That's a bit different because the media builds it up. It's on TV a bit more. It's you read it in the papers. So it's a special occasion, and we take that to heart. And this is a big one not only for the players and the team, but also for the fans. So we respect them. For their efforts in these games where they come out early and they provide that extra buzz, and sometimes in a rivalry game that can push you to the next level. So we feed off that, and they know that. And then it's up to the guys to perform, and that will be the big test at 12 o'clock.
Through that, the home team's done pretty well in this series. Is it the crowd? Is it the build-up, or is it just the momentum? How do you explain that home team generally gets it?
Yeah, I think in a rivalry game, the home team generally can get the edge, and I think that has a lot to do with the crowd. But it's also the players don't want to put in a poor performance in front of your home fans. Where we're at in the standings right now, it can go one of two ways, and we've got to focus on an upward trajectory right now, and it starts with a rivalry game. There's no better time.
Do you think the fact that both teams have won MLS Cups, does that change how you guys view the bragging rights at all? Is there more emphasis on Champions League maybe now, or being the first to sweep them during a season just because both teams have the championship?
Every season provides a different challenge, and in this league, you never know who's going to win on any weekend. We like to be confident going into games always, and we always will be, and think that we can win games. But you know, the teams, Houston last year, you know, San Jose at certain parts of last year, now they're starting to get results and beat good teams on the road too. You can't predict it. So it's, yeah, okay, we won the last MLS Cup. That's great. It would have been nice to win the first one, I think, before them. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, like Clint said, now they can't.
Brad, you mentioned that the top 3 teams lost. How much are you watching those teams ahead of you, or are you just concentrating on you guys?
Yeah, I mean, if I've got a Sunday or a Saturday, especially with these afternoon games, I've got the rest of Saturday to, you know, sit on the couch and watch MLS. So right now, of course, you want to see when you're looking up and there's 7 or 8 teams above you, you want to see those guys lose. It gives you a little bit of extra motivation. Say, okay, we can start to close the gap here. We got 3 games again in 7 days to now close the gap. So yeah, I think we're cognizant of what's going on ahead of us. Everyone is. Certain points you got to focus on yourself and what our team is doing. But at the end of the day, there's standings for a reason.